Hey everybody, it's the Trout, and welcome to another episode, a very special episode, a Christmas edition of the Trout Show, featuring a wonderful new song that was just released by a great duo of singers, Robert Abernathy and Marissa Luna. You know, Christmas brings about a lot of memories, and we've heard all the great songs from the past, and I hope this one was going to be a classic. It's called Christmas Eve Alone. But the one thing we don't think about when we hear a Christmas song is the one person that's always left behind Christmas Eve, and that's Mrs. Claus. She sits around after Santa's gone, the elves are putting all their tools up, and they're ready to pack up and get ready out of there and get ready for the next Christmas. But Mrs. Claus is just sitting there waiting for Santa to return. I love this song. I think it's really indicative of the Christmas season, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. And with this song, you get the interview of the two performers, Robert Abernathy and Marissa Luna. They both came in to talk about how this song came about and why they love it so much at this time. So, from me to you and your family, happy holidays. Enjoy this tune with Robert and Marissa, Christmas Eve Alone. That's next on The Trout Show.
It's that time of year. Pack the sleigh, kiss me goodbye, then go floating in the clouds. Leave the North Pole lights behind. It's quiet in Nashville. Stars are shining down on LA. New York's finally sleeping. This reindeer carry you away. Everybody says it's the best time of year. We both know it's Christmas, 'cause you're not here. So keep the flame burning till you find your way back home. If my lonely heart is longing for you, I'll just dream of you and me without a Christmas Eve alone.
Oh, I'll be there.
How did you two meet?
Oh goodness.
Will you me take this one, or you want to take this one?
I think you should take this one.
Okay, so through a mutual friend, I was first introduced through Chuck Rackley, who was working with Marissa at the time, and
Is he a producer or what is he?
so
He's a record.
I'm sorry.
yeah, so
Yeah.
he's the guy that I was telling you about. I think in our last interview, he's a bass player in
Oh, yeah.
the Eagles tribute band that I
Okay,
play
yeah,
with.
okay, yeah. Okay.
And so he had contacted me one day and said, "Look, you've got to hear this girl sing. She is absolutely amazing, and she worked with like Steve Pennington, and she's just an incredible vocalist." Anyway, so I'd heard a few things, and then um, I think it was about 6 months ago, Marissa, we played a show
It was about July, late July.
in
Yeah.
July. Okay. So Marissa was going to be opening up for Maddie and Tay, and which was a big event, and I got to be on stage with her and watch her work and sing. And after that, I was like, okay, yeah, we've got to definitely work together in some capacity. And I think we've remained in touch, I think, over a period of a
Yeah,
couple months.
I'm at the beach right now, but I ended up going down to Floribama, which is about 5 minutes from this beach house, and he was playing a set, and I sang a few songs with him too, outside on the beach. So that was fun.
Yeah, and it was just like, okay, sometimes it's difficult to find someone that just to sing with that can match your tone in some ways.
Right. Yeah.
And I've sang with a bunch of people over the years, and Marissa was able to hit the harmony notes, sing. She's got such great control over her vocals, and the runs and everything else she can do. Is definitely somebody that, I was thinking, okay, if we ever do a song together, I think it would be really, really good. And that's how we ended up getting to this point.
So Marissa, I know very little about you except that
Okay.
you go to you're in college, you go to University of Alabama,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yeah, I go to the University of Alabama. I'm a sophomore and I study business, mainly marketing, and I'm actually trying to go into online for music currently at the moment so I can travel to Nashville and stuff.
And did you start singing? When did you realize that that's what you want to do though?
Oh goodness. I started singing when I was around, I think 6 years old. I think that's when I knew that there was something potentially there. I at least knew that I enjoyed it. And then I tried out for Red Mountain Theater Company in Birmingham, Alabama, and I got in at 8. And Keith Cromwell, who, works all over Mount Theater, owns the whole company, had even told my mom that a recording artist job could be really interesting for me because I had a lot of rasp in my voice as an 8-year-old. So he was like, we don't normally see that. He thought
You're
something was wrong. He actually told my mom, something's wrong, something's not right. Take your daughter to a doctor, something's wrong with her voice. And we just found out that, that's just how God made me, just really raspy. And that's kind of what got me a lot of the great opportunities I've had, how raspy I am. Wow, that's so great. She has this really cool rasp. Um, I did theater all the way through, I think, middle school, about 13, and then COVID hit. I actually was flying out to New York to try out for one of the main roles of a Broadway show. And the day that we were about to fly out was the shutdown on what
Mhm.
was that, March 13th,
Yeah.
2020, I think. And it was upsetting, but I remember my mom was like, when God closes the door, he opens a window. So then throughout COVID, obviously with the right procedures, all that, getting COVID tests, that's when someone was like, you should do recording music, you should be a recording artist during
Hmm.
this time. And I never went back to theater after that. Recording and songwriting was just where it was at. That was where I found my new love and passion. So a lot of people ask why I didn't do theater anymore. And I was like, well, I fell in love with what I truly want to do and what career I want to be on.
The thing about it is so different. I mean, you can immediately, when somebody sings theater, you just when they start singing, it's completely different.
Oh yeah, which I think is where a lot of the strength people like ask me about comes from. I think a lot of recording artists today, they don't have that training, that history of having to be like a theater artist or learning Italian opera, which I did as a young child too. So of course it was a struggle to learn how to like add some of that artistry in there and those artistic details like riffs and stuff like that. That took a little bit longer. But when someone asks me if I'm able to put some power behind something, I have all that training to really understand what they're asking for. So I think that's really benefited me a lot.
And you know, Robert knows this. People would kill for rasps in their voice if it's natural.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh my
absolutely.
gosh. I think I remember like coming home from like elementary school and being like, Mom, people call my voice raspy. I don't like it. And why am I being made fun of? And now all the time people are always like, oh, I love how raspy your voice is. And I'm like, I didn't love it at first, but now I definitely understand what people are saying.
Well, it's one of those things that people try to do, and some people can get away with doing it and be good at it, but they're not born with it.
Well, it
You know?
adds depth. It adds depth to your vocal. Like it's,
Yeah.
you can if you could see it on a wave, file or something, it would definitely look different than
Yeah.
someone who does not have it. And it's a quality that really sticks out.
I
And
think
and
those,
then no, go ahead.
sorry. Okay, I think my favorite moments are with rasp though. I think there's somewhere in the Christmas song where like it's not constant rasp, it's just like I'll say one line and it comes out and it just adds so much more emotion to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the blues genre, which I play in a lot, obviously raspy is what you you want to be able to
Yeah.
give that pain and angst that you sing when you lose your whatever, your dog, your cow, whatever that so thing. But I didn't really hear it in that tune. I mean, it's probably I listened to it right before we got started, and it's now that I'm going to have to go back and listen to it again, which I'll be listening to it a lot. But I mean,
There's
to
not much in there, but I also kind of, I guess sometimes I will take the time to think about should this song have rasp? Is this what this song needs? And I think the song it's such a pretty song. I didn't want to add a lot of rasp in there and make it something that it wasn't because Christmas tunes, I don't know. I think Christmas tunes are classics. So I
Hmm.
think if you're gonna add rasp or add something really vocally different, you have to do it perfectly right because just those Christmas songs, you just want that angelic, really pretty sound out of
Yeah.
both artists.
Now let's talk about the tune because Robert, you co-wrote this, right?
Right.
With a friend of yours or
Yeah.
another
Yeah.
artist.
I wrote this, yeah, with Paul Kofer.
And then did you write it during the season sometime or did you write in the summer? What time of year did you write it?
No, no, we didn't. We actually, so the idea behind this, I worked with Paul on a couple different songs. We'd written one called Heaven Has a Radio. It's a really great song. And then he brought me the idea and said, I got this idea for a song, Christmas Eve Alone. And it's really about, he said, don't knock it down yet. He said, it's about, it's about Mrs. Claus. And I thought, okay, he said, every year she spends Christmas Eve alone.
Yep.
And I thought, okay, well, that's a Christmas story. Because I mean, if you're going to sing it, write a Christmas song. To me, you have to be creative, and it needs to be. It doesn't need to be the exact same thing you hear every year. If you want something new, something new, you need something new, fresh. So we tackled it, wrote it, took it to the studio, cut a demo. We cut two demos actually. One was just a female version, and then we did a duet version. Um, in the female version, it was just Mrs. Claus singing the whole song. And though it was
It was from
strong,
her standpoint.
it
Santa's
yeah,
out and I'm laying here at home drinking, guzzling some wine. I noticed
right.
Mrs. Claus is a drinker.
It was we noticed that in the video too. Like that girl, Mrs. Claus is gonna be drunk by the time he
Slowly.
gets home. And then we felt like the duet would be stronger if we could do that, pull that off, and that way you could see something maybe from Santa's perspective as well. And so we created this fun little story, and then of course I'm sure we'll get in the video a little bit later, but the story I thought was a sweet story. It's not really sad. You would think it would be a sad song because it's Christmas Eve alone, and it could be taken that way, but it's really not. If you make it to the last scene of the video, it's like, it's not sad. It's a happy, like there they are.
Well, it's funny when you have to actually, in my opinion, you have to watch the video to understand what's going on. Because as you said, and Marissa, you said the same thing. You want something angelic. You want something, and you think about all the
Yeah.
Christmas songs, not the standards like Silent Night, but the ones that all
Yeah.
come out after that. I'll be blue for
Right,
Christmas. You're gone. All I want for
right.
Christmas is. And so when you listen to it, if you didn't see the video, you might think that you were talking about you were missing somebody, which is okay, fine, because as
I
as
think
we all
this one's a little more bittersweet, honestly. Like I
Mm.
think like Last Christmas and some of those other songs, like they do have a sad ending in general, and it's kind of just like missing someone through the holidays, that kind of
Right.
mm, seasonal depression that people talk about.
Yes.
I think this one's kind of like, the I think the real story behind it for me personally, when I listen to it, is how much love they have for each other.
Mm.
And that's why they miss each other. It's not like you broke my heart and you're left or anything like
Right.
missing
Hmm.
someone that kind of way in a heartbreak way. It's more of like we love each other so much. So when you're gone, it makes a really big difference. And then, like Robert said, when they come back at the end, I think that's something everybody can relate to. Like sometimes like I thought of it of a way of like family members being really far apart on Christmas, having family that's spread out across the stage
Hmm.
or the world. You really love them. It's nothing that they did. It's just y'all are separated during a time that's supposed to be about family. And when you come together, it means more. It's more special because you're normally separated.
Yeah.
So I think it has a really happy story, but it also it shows kind of the sad emotions you can have from being separated from those.
Well, you listen to it, and I've listened to it several times. First off, you guys are great. I don't need to tell you that. Both
Thank
of
you.
you are fantastic. And I'd
Thank
heard
you.
Robert before, but when I heard your voice, because obviously you start out because you're Mrs. Claus,
Yes.
and Robert had always told me about what a great voice you have, and you have a beautiful, beautiful voice. And the confidence, what I notice about people that sing and really you have the confidence already. Now, I know you're not that old, but you still have a lot of confidence in what you do. I could see that. because going to the studio can be very intimidating,
Oh, yeah.
especially if you're in the booth singing and everybody else is standing there watching you. It's very, it's like, and if you're in Nashville,
Yeah.
you cut this in Nashville, didn't you? Someplace? Did you cut in Nashville?
No, actually, we took this to Bates Brothers Recording in Birmingham to
Oh,
finish
okay.
the
So you went out.
vocals.
Okay.
Yeah, so Josh Bright did the tracks in Boaz, and then we took them, after that, we took them to Bates Brothers in Birmingham.
Let me ask about the technical side of it. So you guys did this tune. How long did it take? Well, I mean, how long did it take you to finish up the final take? Did you enter a day or 2 days or one day? And
We started, well, the tracking was done a year before, actually.
so
I
all
had
the
already cut the
music was
demo.
done. You just had
Yeah,
you basically, and so you
yeah,
guys were adding the vocals to it. Okay.
yeah. I'd already cut the demo, um, and it was out for Christmas last year. I just had created like a little Christmas music lyric video, and it did really well. I thought, well, the next time around, I need to find, I probably need to find a female vocalist to do this, and let's put it out. And we got right up against I mean, I waited too late to really push it, but Marissa and I got to talking, and we decided to go ahead and push forward. We took it there to Bass Brothers on what day? It was on the 28th, on a Saturday at 2 o'clock. And she was such a pro. I mean, she had already, I could tell that she had been practicing. We went in there just to kind of briefly just work on it in the sound room. Sat down with the guitar and just kind of played through it. And I was like, okay, this is going to be easy. And sure enough, like, we did several takes of her voice just because they were all so good, and she did little nuances and things in between sometimes that we thought was really good, and we just kind of stitched those great moments together that you hear. It didn't take us long at all, and we actually shot the music video the same day. And we got a very interesting story on the music video, but
Yeah.
that very same day we knocked all of that out. Yeah, back to the recording of this song. Eric Bates was in the booth when Marissa was, or he was in the control room while Marissa was out there in the booth working on the vocals. And I remember there were a couple times where we would look at each other when she would do a run or something, be like, God, capture that right there, and let's just let her go and let's just see what she does. And so we went through it several times and just would ask her to do little things different every so often, just so we could capture a lot of different things. We could have done an entire, 2 or 3 other songs with different things that, we did vocally or that she did vocally, that would sound even just as good or better, but I think that was just the magic of being in the studio.
I think
Um,
that's the part when you listen to somebody like Marissa Robert and you go, it's just not fair.
exactly,
Oh God.
exactly.
It's not fair.
And I told you, and I really meant that. I've sang with a lot of different people, and I'm not saying that anybody I play with it or sing with is bad, but there are times when you sing with somebody or you work with somebody, and right away, okay, like her vocal tones and her ability to sing harmony and stay on the notes is, I mean, it challenges me as well. But I really was happy to hear how it sounded, especially when we got the final product back. I was like, man, that really sounds good.
I think the hardest thing when you write a song and is trying to listen to your voice critically, because obviously you never sound like you do to everybody else. This thing, and you were talking about maybe next year it'll even be bigger. And that's what's so great about your tune. And you should both know that if you don't know it already. It's timeless.
Right.
It is really
We knew that.
timeless.
We knew that going into writing it, and
Yeah.
Paul and I talked about it, but especially now that I think that we've got the right vocal, the right track, the right person. I mean, I don't know if you've even got into it, but she's also Miss University of Alabama, which is
Yeah,
quite a big
I hadn't
deal,
gotten there yet. I was going to ask her about that. Yeah.
And having that, I think it's big for her. It's big for me. The potential of what it can be. And it may not blow up into this huge Mariah Carey song. Chances are it won't. But if it does, it'd be nice to see that once a year, right? So we go to the studio, and after the studio, Paul had arranged for us to go to someone's house. Now, keep in mind, this is 2 or 3 days before Halloween.
Okay.
And so the trick was to get someone to decorate their home in a Christmas, decorated up Christmas 3 days before Halloween. Now, would you do that, Rick? No, I wouldn't. But Paul found his uncle and aunt was willing to do that. And I said, oh, that's cool. He didn't tell me who his uncle was. He just said my uncle and aunt they would love to host us in their home. So we get there to the house that day and we walk in. Marissa, you didn't know either, I don't think, did you,
No, I
before we got
didn't.
there?
I hadn't
Neither
seen
one of
the flare.
us knew. We walk in there, and by that time, we started, mingle and shaking hands and like, hey, how you doing? Oh, by the way, he's a 7-time Grammy award-winning producer and songwriter with 51 number one hits, and that's the video we shot in that house.
Mhm.
And so we shot the video. The video was done, and then afterwards, Keith was really, I mean, he really liked the song. It's like, hey, I'd love for you guys to come back and shoot some more at the house and let us fix it up a little bit different and give you another video where you can kind of use maybe more intimate around the piano. We can send it out and cut it up, however you want to use it. And so this was, I don't know, 3 or 4 nights ago, I think. Maybe what night was this? Yeah.
I think it was
We
Thursday.
we went back and recorded it, did another take of it. And then we got some photos. He set up the screen, like they redid their entire home for us to do this.
Wow.
It was remarkable the kindness that him and his wife extended to us. And like I said, I mean, he's an incredible producer. I mean, if you could look at the names of the people that he's worked with, and he rolled out the red carpet for Marissa and I. So
So what are they going to do with the video? They're going to redo it and send that again, or what's the idea?
So we'll have another video for more promo stuff.
Okay.
To put
So
out.
is it
It's a
going to
little
be
bit
away
different.
from the Santa Claus theme? I mean, Santa Claus
Yeah.
still being there, but
Yeah.
it's going to be you guys just in a different place, do it more.
Right.
Okay.
So the Santa Claus video, which by the way, the Santa Claus video, that was really Santa and Mrs. Claus. A lot of people are going to think it was fake, but that was the real guy. He actually goes out in Birmingham on Christmas Eve, and like they really deliver toys to families and do things. And I'm the Mrs. Claus and I worked together at a school I taught at. She worked on the lunchroom staff, and we had talked about it before. And when it came time to shoot the video, we were trying to figure out, we need to get a Mr. and Mrs. Claus, and bingo, it just popped in my head because I remember them telling me stories of what all they did. And they were so excited to be in the video, and they did such a good job.
They were so kind.
They
Well, they
did an
do a
amazing
great,
job.
here's the thing. It all came together like it's supposed to. So I think what's going to happen is this thing will get some legs. Maybe not this year, but you never know.
I think of that story with Wham. I remember I watched the movie with my mom not too long ago, and I was actually recording some of my EP in Muscle Shoals. And I remember that when he recorded Last Christmas, he was like, oh, this is gonna be the biggest Christmas hit ever. Put it out. And what was it? It was they all went in, all those artists went in to record. What was that song?
The Wham song, yeah. Last Christmas?
Another,
No, it
Last
wasn't that
Christmas,
one. It was
yes.
Last
But
Christmas,
that
yeah.
year, every single artist almost went in to go sing. Oh goodness, I'm trying to think of what song it was. But anyways, moral of the story, he wasn't number one on the charts. He was number 2 that year. And he thought it was gonna be number 1, and someone beat him to it. And the song that beat him to it, he was actually on, which is even more ironic. And it wasn't until like not too long ago, a couple years ago, where Last Christmas was actually number 1. And it's just funny. It's one of those things where it's like you make this really great song and it doesn't do well, and then out of nowhere it's just like, oh, it's number 1, it has the most likes, and everybody's listening to it. It's the random moments. It really is.
You never know. I mean, social media, you never
No.
know. Good luck to
Right.
both of you. You guys have a
You
great
too.
day. Enjoy your holiday.
too.
See ya.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
You're welcome. Bye.
It's that time of year. Pack the sleigh, kiss me goodbye, then go floating in the clouds. Leave the North Pole lights behind. It's quiet in Nashville. Stars are shining down on LA. New York's finally sleeping. This reindeer carry you away. Everybody says it's the best time of year. We both know it's Christmas, 'cause you're not here. So keep the flame burning till you find your way back home. If my lonely heart is longing for you, I'll just dream of you and me without a Christmas Eve alone.
Oh, I'll be thinking as I'm tiptoeing on the roof, squeezing down some old chimney of all I'm gonna do. When I get home Christmas morning and you're lying there asleep, and I close the bedroom door, kiss you on your rosy cheek. Though I'm blazing frozen trails up in the sky, thoughts of you keep me warm
All through the night, oh,
Baby, keep the flame burning till I find my way back home. If your lonely heart is longing, baby, dream of you and me without a Christmas Eve alone. If I see the sun is rising over snow-covered trees,
it can only mean it's Christmas. Santa, come home to me, and I'll keep the flame burning till you find your way back home.
I'm coming home.
If my lonely heart is longing for you, I'll just dream of you and me without a Christmas Eve alone.
I'll just dream of you and me
Without a Christmas